Hey, namaste, I'm Kay, this is Ecstatic Self. So one of the things that can be helpful as we develop better awareness of ourselves and how we interact with the world and our days is to pay attention to not does an activity or relationship or thing I do make me feel good or bad, because that can change from experience to experience. But I think we should start paying attention to, does spending this time with this person or doing this activity or exploring this thing, when I'm done, when the experience is over, do I feel filled and energized like I have been given life? Or do I feel drained? Do I feel empty, like my life force has been taken? It's a phrase that we hear a lot right now, that gives me life, but there's a lot of truth in that. Because ultimately, whether something's painful or pleasurable or easy or hard, ultimately does not matter so much. What we should really pay attention to is something a drain, or is it something that fills us? So a really great activity that you can do is to just chart your day. Write down every activity that you do, from simple of like taking the dog for a walk or making breakfast, to the bigger stuff like going to work, having meetings, watching a movie with my loved one, meditating, masturbating, whatever comes up for you, lovemaking. And then again, don't think of, did I enjoy it or did I not? Think about, when it was over, how did I feel? Did I feel more alive or did I feel emptied? And then next to the name of what you wrote down, the activity you did, draw a little line and put a little hash mark in the middle. Almost think of it like the battery demarcator in a car. I know many of us drive hybrid or fuel efficient cars now, and they'll show, hey, am I filling up the battery or am I draining the battery? Am I being fuel efficient or am I not? And mark that down for yourself. So if you're like, hey, after I make myself my post-workout milkshake, I feel so good every time. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good thing I do to nourish myself. Go circle on that far end. If you say, oh, every time I jerk off with porn, and I'm not saying porn's wrong, I did not have a healthy relationship for a long time, now I do. Now I'm able to enjoy it in a way that it didn't make me feel good before, but now it does. But if you feel like, oh, I jerked off with porn, it didn't make me feel good, felt drained afterwards, it felt empty, goes far to the other side. And start noticing for your day, how many of the things you do are in the plus column, how many are in the negative column. You can even ascribe numbers to it. So if it's far to the positive, maybe it gets a +5, slightly positive, a +1, slightly negative, a -2, very negative, a -5. And then total up your day. When you bring together all of the events, all the ways you're spending time and your limited amount of life force, your limited amount of time, are you ending up in the positive column or are you ending up in the negative column? And if you're in the positive column, cool. Hopefully you're in the very, very far positive column, that your grand total's like +30. But even if it's slightly positive, right? At least that's sustainable. But if you add up your day and realize, fuck, I'm spending 9 of my hours in back-to-back meetings, and each meeting is basically a -5 for me, and that does not get counterbalanced by the other things I do, then you are going to be aging really quickly. You are going to be drained of your life force. And in a very short amount of time, you're going to be facing burnout. Now, if we realize that our life is heavily geared towards an energy drain, well, we do need to do things to change that, but that's the topic of another video or one-on-one coaching with me, because you can't live your life in a deficit. You can't. You will burn out. You will get sick, injured. You'll have chronic fatigue syndrome. Something will happen. I know somebody who burned themselves so hard that they ended up not being able to get out of bed for 3 years. They had such bad chronic fatigue from it. And it was nothing that doctors could identify. So are you living your life in the pluses or the minuses? I think we need to take stock. And again, it's not about pleasurable or painful, because painful things might end up making you feel really good in the long term. I don't like going and, doing, well, actually I do like going to the gym, but there's things I have to do because I know ultimately I'll feel better afterwards. But for a lot of people, going to the gym is like that. So just a new perspective, perhaps. Count up your day, see where you're ranking. Hopefully you're in the positive. If you like this, please feel free to share it, subscribe, send me a message, let me know how you're enjoying it. I love reading and commenting and talking with people. Always check out my website, ecstaticself.com. But yeah, thanks for your time. I'm Kay, Ecstatic Self. Namaste.